Good morning, everyone. Today's Monday, October 19th, 2020. The time is precisely 11 a.m. We're meeting for our weekly Commissioner Status Report. Attending are Commissioners Duncan, Brooks, and Filios. Do we have any changes to the agenda? Hearing none. First item of business is proposed resolution 2020-69, alternative forms of government general discussion. Commissioner Bill Brooks. Go ahead, Bill.
Sure. I brought this forward, and if anybody has taken the time to read the resolution, it's not about deciding on an alternative form of government, whether it's good or bad. It's simply to have the discussion about the form of government that we now have versus other ones that we are permitted to have under state law.
That's it?
That's it.
Do you want to say a little bit more about the commission or the study group, whatever?
Well, we haven't decided, and that's not up for discussion today, so no.
Okay.
Does the resolution say committee of 9? Was it?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, you haven't said, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I've seen it, I just haven't memorized it, so yeah, committee of 9.
9 members.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just read the last part here.
Sure.
Okay, so, it follows Idaho Code. Idaho Code, for the benefit of everybody in the room, allows 2 forms of government, the one that you're accustomed to, which we have today. The other form is the county manager form of government. I think it's sometimes referred to as streamlined, if I'm not mistaken.
I think there's 2 or 3 forms of county government that are allowed, not just this one and another one. I think there's executive,
Manager.
Oh, manager, which is someone that would be between us and our direct reports. Okay. And anyway, so the last paragraph here is, now therefore be it hereby resolved as follows, that the Kootenai County BOCC appoint a study commission consisting of 9 members and to conduct the study and report to the BOCC as required by Idaho law and as further lawfully directed. Okay, so that's it.
And I know there are some people that have strong feelings about that, and I don't have any problem hearing them, as long as they confine what they're saying to why we should not or should have the discussion.
All right, we'll have public comment at the end anyway. Okay, good. All right then. Item number 2, and this is me joining other local jurisdictions in educational campaign, potential action item, which is probably premature, but anyway. What happened is a week and a half ago, I was approached by Mayor Widmeyer, and he wanted to know if we wanted to participate in an ad campaign to encourage the use of masks as a means of containing or restricting the spread of COVID-19 within our county. And at that point, I said, well, I don't know, because I'd have to consult with my co-commissioners, and the recommendation is that we use COVID money. Which is something we need to look at, because truthfully, right off the bat, I don't know if we can use COVID money, but be that as it may, this is really being spearheaded by Kiki Miller, who is City Councilwoman for Coeur d'Alene, and apparently the jurisdictions that have agreed to participate have looked at it, and I guess it is an appropriate use of the money. But that's something that Jody's on the line. I spoke with her earlier, so she'll take it up, Dina, with our COVID task force. Anyway, the participating groups right now, or jurisdictions, is Kootenai Health, Heritage Health, cities of Coeur d'Alene, Post Falls, and Hayden, School District 271, 273, and NIC. I'm sorry, a Northwest Specialty Hospital. So these are the groups that are participating, that are contributing to this campaign. The campaign apparently is going to be more of a social media type of campaign. I don't think they're anticipating print, because it is more expensive. And so his question of me is, do you want to participate? So the answer to him was, I don't know. I'd have to ask my co-commissioners. We didn't discuss dollar amounts, and so I'm just throwing it out there. Do you want the COVID task force to look at it?
I'm not interested in it. If all these agencies are putting money towards it, I think the whole county's covered. I don't really see the value in it, since if we've had this mask mandate for months, why isn't that affected our numbers? So I don't see benefit in it for me to spend CARES money dollars on this campaign.
Thoughts?
Yes, I have a problem with the methodology, and who's in charge of this campaign, and how did they get there, and to which advertising agencies is this money going, and how is that decided and by whom, and last but not least, how much it is. Because
No, go ahead, go ahead.
we've had a lot of public relations type work done on this, and just because there's money available from the government doesn't mean you should take it and use it, and I don't know that you should use it in this manner, so I'm not tickled to death.
Okay,
That's kind of a no.
so it's kind of a no? Okay. I have mixed feelings about it. I think there's enough information out there. I don't have a problem with the campaign personally, but as I look at this more carefully, they're looking at, I guess, a potential contribution, total contribution of about $50,000 for the campaign. I think there's enough word out there. I don't have a problem doing it, but by the same token, I'm not going to go out on a limb to do it. I think people know enough to know that if they want to protect themselves, they can mask, and it's just as simple as that. So at this point, off we go.
Off we go.
Okay. I'll put this aside then. Next item. Audio-visual discussion. I'm cited for it, but I really need Nancy Jones to comment, and I think you need some more work to do, Nancy.
Thank you, Commissioner. Again, Nancy Jones, Communications Manager for the record. This is a revisit of a previous discussion to just see if the board wanted more information. So we had discussed updates in this room to the audiovisual. Jody Beasy and I looked at it and ultimately sort of said, well, let's see what's going on. We have the new RFP for the new building. What's going to happen in 2 to 3 years? Since then, we have been having repeated issues with the audio and specifically with community development. We're still having situations where, for example, in the hearing examiner meetings, the hearing examiner cannot hear the applicant's testimony. They cannot hear the hearing examiner's questions. Last week, Pat Braden asked 3 times for this group to repeat. I had the opportunity on Friday to go over and view the system that Evco Sound had proposed, something very, very similar. It would definitely work in our situation. We would still be looking at somewhere between $40,000 and $50,000 for the full updates that would integrate your phone conversations into the speakers in the room. It would allow for boundary mics to be moved around the room that could pick up all of the sound. It probably solves those issues, so it's really up to the board. Do you want more information? Is this still something that you would like to pursue or look at just before, because before that window closes for use of COVID money for at least part of the purchases and labor?
Were we able to get any other bids?
We talked to the City of Coeur d'Alene, talked to VMI Video. What we were told by them is that it wasn't likely with the existing system that we could integrate things like the phone conferencing. This would be an entirely, the current system would be allowed to be used upstairs, but primarily in these rooms we would go to the new system, which does answer those concerns, but we haven't found other local businesses, at least I haven't in my searching, that are using that particular technology.
Is this the same company that already gave us a presentation?
It is.
So this is Josh.
This is Josh from Evco, and I haven't found anyone else. I've talked to 2 other companies who said probably beyond your budgetary, you're probably looking at $100,000 to really integrate your phone and everything else. Josh seems to be one of the few who are using this other system, which he took me on a virtual tour of a Vista that's using something similar, and Greater Spokane Inc., who has moved over to this system. So it is within the budget. It is a solution. I haven't found anyone else offering that particular solution, but it's up to the board if you want to move forward.
I know
at all.
David Callahan, Community Development, really wants to get the information out there and wants people to be able to participate. I mean, I really know that he does, but when I look around here, when he's up here, it looks like a Rube Goldberg type of arrangement with the wires going this way and that way, And then, you know, here we got Pat, the attorney, on the line, or you can see him, but you can't hear him, or you can hear him, but you can't see him. I do hear all the chihuahuas in the background. I mean, it's not the way it should be. And it makes people who do tune in, whether it's Zoom or however, they don't like it. It's frustrating. And after watching it for a while, I want to hang up. So I think we should really do some more looking, and I don't know, you're the expert.
Jody, did you want to jump in here?
I wasn't able to actually hear Nancy very well, but if the board would be considerate of potentially moving it to the COVID team so Nancy could provide us with that, again, it would allow us then to also identify whether or not a procurement option would be advisable, and whether or not there are other providers that would be able to provide the equipment that I believe Nancy was referring to. And again, I apologize. I wasn't able to hear her very well. So thank you.
So we hadn't done that yet? It hasn't gone through COVID task force?
Only through the original discussion when Josh did the, and then as I said, we sort of backed off of it.
Okay.
And then it was the continuing issues, specifically with community development, that sort of caused the conversation to happen again. I'm sure there are other companies that could do it at this point. One of the other considerations will be how soon they could. Even with EVCO completing this, if we were to go to contract in the next 2 to 3 weeks, it would probably still not be absolutely complete. We would be in the middle of the install, perhaps toward the end, but we would be looking at a December install even with them. So that's where this question comes forward to say, do we even want to keep looking? Because if we're going to go out to other companies and start getting other bids, chances are we should just wait until the next budget cycle and look at using county dollars if we wanted to take that step.
I think with the level of effort that you've already put forth, even though it's not necessarily exhaustive, I think if the COVID task force concludes that this is a valid use of the money, I think we should go forward. Because he's come through with a comprehensive solution. We don't have anything from anyone else. And to Bill's point, this is a kludge. Look what we're doing here. And often when we get on Zoom or whatever, we can't hear each other. It's like a third-rate operation. So I'm ready to go forward if this can be done through the COVID funds. That's my take.
Yeah, and then I really want to leave this in the hands of the board. So with that, I will go to the COVID task force, present to them what I have found, and see where it goes from there, and we'll report back.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, pending items, thanks Nancy. Pending items status review.
All right, so have we opened escrow?
Yes, we've opened escrow with Romer.
Okay. Do we have a closed date?
The close date is 21 days from when this was approved, which was
8th?
2 weeks ago tomorrow. Yeah, so that would be 14, so it would be next Tuesday, which would be, I'm sorry, go ahead. I know, now you're going to tell us about, this is the shortest contract they've ever seen?
Actually, I apologize. I do have a little more information on this. So North Idaho Title has been tasked as the closing agent.
Right.
Gavin at North Idaho Title. They have tentatively scheduled us for the 23rd of October.
Okay.
Pat Braden is drafting the deed due to the very specific language. Gavin's aware of that. Pat is working on the deed, and we have an item on the business meeting for tomorrow for the board to determine who should have signing authorization on the closing documents.
So the 23rd is this Friday.
Correct.
Okay,
It's
so
within the
then
deadline.
next Monday, this one's going to be off our list.
That's it. And no one can refer to Romer or Rome. No root word with R-O-M.
Correct. Music Conservatory.
I don't want to talk about
And
it.
I've been giving out.
I'm done with it.
I've been giving out Mayor Whitmire's home phone number all weekend long.
You guys know how I feel
nothing
about
for the
it.
next
Yeah, we do.
I'm not gonna.
We're not asking.
I know, and I'm not offering.
Okay,
I've offered it enough.
fair enough. Okay, Citizen Advisory Committee. Bill, you wanted to put this off until when?
November.
November, okay, so that's next month. Fire station at the fairgrounds, I communicated with Dave Ferguson, our attorney, and he has reviewed it and forwarded it back to their attorney, but hasn't heard back yet.
I have a question on this.
Yes, sir.
So, if the county owns the dirt
Uh-oh,
at the fairgrounds,
go ahead.
okay? And the fire, KCFR, is going to build a fire station on the county's dirt, correct?
Yes?
Why is the lease being paid to the fair? Why
Well-
wouldn't the lease money be paid to the county?
I don't think we've gotten that
Yeah,
far
we haven't- yeah,
yet.
we haven't gotten
We
there
haven't
yet.
even seen a
I,
written proposal.
I know that, but
I have the same question, by the way, but
Alexia
go
has
ahead.
said in the public meetings that she's counting on that money for them to get a building. So I'm just asking the question because it doesn't make any sense to me that they would not, now, if the county decided to make that a pass-through to them, that'd be one thing, but it's not their dirt, it's your dirt.
That's correct.
So nobody ever asked the question, and so I thought I would ask.
I don't think we've gotten to that discussion. We've
haven't.
had the presentation, we were waiting for legal to get back to us, and then, in my
we'll go
mind, we
from
were
there.
gonna review the terms.
Okay. Just thought I'd ask.
And, is that Jody?
No, it's Alexia. If you have
Alexia.
questions, feel free to ask.
Yeah, go right ahead.
She said if we have questions.
No, just if you have anything you want me to address, I can. Otherwise, I guess we'll review it at the next one. But yes, it does ask that it get paid to the fairgrounds, and that was from the fire commissioners.
Right, I was just going to say, Kootenai Fire and Rescue requested that the money go to the fairgrounds. Doesn't mean it will, but that was their request. But to Leslie's point, we haven't gotten there yet.
And I think we need to, but I don't think today's the day.
No, today's not the day to
I
do
just
that.
wanted to ask the question.
Yep, fair enough. Okay.
Okay,
Alexia, did you want to add anything else?
No, thank you.
okay, so U of I assume they're in their new home, because trucks came and got them, and, I hope they're doing well. The lease is on tomorrow's business meeting for signature, and then we're waiting for the MOU to come out of legal.
Fair enough. Okay, facilities expansion?
Yeah, we have our meeting for the 21st to go over our architect scoring packets.
Okay, and for the benefit of everyone listening, this is an architectural RFQ, which is a request for qualifications to build a building on this campus that will house primarily the 2 new courtrooms, public defender, which is a group right now of a little over 60 people, and our prosecutor, which is also a group a little over 60 people. And so we will be scoring those packages on Wednesday, and at that, shortly thereafter, or right there, making a determination as to who comes in first and foremost. I think we have, is it 4 or 5 packages?
Or packages.
Okay.
Like I said in the last one, just kind of, when you're looking at them, really take each criteria, read it each time, and then go back in the packet and see how much of that criteria you can find, and then score it accordingly. Make sure that they're giving you relevant information to this particular project, recent cost analysis, if you will, and things that are in the process of being done or have been completed.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay? So just if you do that, there's one of them that's going to jump off the page.
Understood. You cited certain pages?
Pages 8 and 9 is, I believe, where the criteria is. So that's really in that whole
scoring sheet.
60-some, and the scoring sheet. In that whole
Understood.
60-some page RFQ, that's the only 2 you need to focus on.
Fair enough.
Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Pat, did you have something to add to an item, or are you just here for moral support?
No, I'm just here to listen and answer any questions you might have.
Thank you, Pat.
Okay.
Yep. I'll be with you, so.
Okay, thanks, Matt. PAC Airport lease?
Yep, so they are, we had a discussion, Wally and I did, and along with Stephen, I'd gotten some criteria from Stephen, so Wally is working on some terms. So we'll get back together, the 3 of us, and determine what we can do for a lease that satisfies Stephen and that satisfies PAC.
Understood. Okay.
Wally
Jacobson.
Jacobson?
With an O-N, I believe. Okay, final item, OEM, which is Office of Emergency Management Relocation.
Okay, so we have a pre-con meeting tomorrow morning at 8:30. That'll be the one where we'll just meet everybody and put out the schedule, which we know what the deadline is. That's not a surprise to anybody. We should have the permit in a couple days. We're waiting on Panhandle Health and Northern Lakes Fire to sign off. And the permit fee was waived by David Callahan, and that amount was $3,958.68. So we're moving right along.
Okay. So when is Gino supposed to start work? Would it be next week?
Oh, no, I'm hoping that they're gonna start Thursday if I can get the
Of
permit.
this week?
Yeah,
Okay.
I was thinking we were gonna pick the permit up today, but Corey's following up on that, so I'm hoping Wednesday or Thursday,
Okay, cool.
at least demo.
Okay, thank you. All right then, so that concludes our formal agenda. Public comment? Anybody wish to speak?
Yes, sir. Commissioners, just want to let you know that I have the deed drafted for the Romer building purchase. I'll be sending it over to your staff probably later today.
Okay, great.
Thanks, Pat.
Thank you. Summer, go right ahead.
Well, you know me, I have lots of questions.
So name,
So with the,
your address, Summer Bushnell. your
Summer
address.
Bushnell, 5006 East Side Court, Post Falls. About the discussion on the alternate forms of government, it's a committee of 9. Who's on the committee? Do we know yet? Okay. And will there be money spent to write this white paper?
Don't know.
So it'll be a volunteer board?
Don't know.
Don't know, okay. Because that's where my main objection comes in. I'd emailed all three of you. I understand that there's a need for that. I just feel like the county manager thing's been voted on twice, and it's kind of like beating a dead horse. And I don't know about this county executive thing, but as long as there's not, if it's a volunteer board and there's not taxpayer money being spent on that, that would be a good discussion, because I know you guys do need your workload lightened. Just for me, it's with all this other stuff going on with COVID, I want accountability and someone that's, elected. I'm not a big fan of the city manager, county manager thing. In regards to the educational campaign, so you're saying, Chris, you were saying it's $50,000 to put in
Total, that's what everybody, yeah, that's,
for each entity is putting in?
no, total.
Total,
That's the
total.
total amount, yeah.
So you guys wouldn't be putting in that much?
No.
Okay, because the way you said it, I was like,
No,
dang,
no,
that's
no,
a
no,
lot of
no.
money from each entity.
No, that's, yeah, I think they might have already spent some money, but basically, yeah, what I'm seeing here, which is very recent, is 50,000. And you have, what is it, 9 or 10 jurisdictions that have signed up. So theoretically, if everybody were to chip in equally, it would be like 5,000 apiece.
Well, my main concern with it is, are we gonna be shaming people? Because I was sent an ad campaign, and I meant to email it to you all, and I forgot. But it has a, so who are you? And the normal one is the person with the mask. And then it has the one who doesn't care about others, has no mask. And I'm just worried, like we had that incident at Walmart a couple months, if you don't do a campaign to be actually educational instead of shaming, I think you're gonna have more incidences of people, as I like to say, trying to parent each other, grown adults trying to parent each other, or being a jerk when they just need to mind their own business. So for me, I would prefer you guys stay out of it. Seems like there's enough entities that are already doing educational campaigns, but if you do get involved, be really, really careful with the shaming part, because that's not, to shame half of the population or people with legit health conditions, that's a waste of taxpayer money, and it'll really honestly piss people off. There's a good way to go about that, and not, more science-based is what I would say.
Right. So I guess, I thought we decided we're not going to be involved. Is that pretty much what we?
That was
Yeah.
my,
And we actually, it's interesting because, and Nancy reminded me before we came down here, apparently, we kind of took this up in the summer, I think in July, and it wasn't quite as firm as it is now. They didn't have all the jurisdictions signed up and whatnot. And I thought that at that time, we made a decision that we weren't going to do anything. But that was then, and I don't recall it, but Nancy said, in fact, that's what we did, so this is kind of a
And
reiteration.
before coming to this meeting, our infection rate is going up. Our death rate has stayed the same for almost 3 months. I verified it with what's the name of that position?
Epidemiologist.
Epidemiologist,
Yeah.
yep,
At Panhandle Health, because I wanted to make sure the numbers were the same.
yeah.
Can I ask a question about the Hutter development in the article? or-
Yeah, go right ahead.
Okay. who approved that? Because it seems like there's, I know that road is a lot of intersecting in jurisdictions. Did you guys approve that? Which city? Because I know Hutter's like the dividing line for so many cities
Yeah.
along there.
I asked, it's funny you should ask, because I spoke with David Callahan before I came down, because I thought, did we do something that I forgot? No. We had no hand in it, none whatsoever. So it's basically a joint annexation between Post Falls and Coeur d'Alene.
So they're splitting up the land.
So they're splitting up the land, and I guess, I don't know who's getting what percentage, I don't know.
Wouldn't that have made it county land before then?
No, because I believe it was, if I'm not mistaken, it might have been in the ACI, which is the Area of City Impact, I think. But no,
For
we.
both of those cities?
Yeah, we were
Okay.
not part of that decision whatsoever.
Do you guys know if the impact to the area was looked at all? Like, I'm just thinking
Right.
aquifer roads, especially
Right.
the roads, because I just had a conversation with someone that's a proponent of the $50 fee, and so I know Hutter will be affected if that fee goes through or not. I just thought, was that considered and all that?
My very basic understanding is if you own property in the ACI, you can go approach the city, and the county has absolutely no say in it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what you want to do. If the city agrees to annex you, you go through that process, and then it's the city who would approve. So as far as I know, these 4,500 homes have not been approved. That's what it's slated, and that's what it looks like, but I don't know that there's any active permits, there's no subdivisions,
I
there's
don't think so yet.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is such in basic form right now, but the annexation has to happen first.
And they'll go through the same process that we do. So they'll go out, they'll contact all the jurisdictions, highway districts, fire districts, whatever, gather the input, and then proceed to make whatever decision lies before them.
And I had been mistaken, apparently. I had thought the highway district was under you guys for years. And I was just explaining that today, and I'm
Independent.
like,
No,
pulled.
yeah, nope.
Yep, 4 districts, independent.
Okay, so thank you, because now I know who to bug. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Anyone else?
Good morning. My name's Sandra White, 939 West D Court, Hayden. Okay, I'm going to jump off of Summer's questions. So, first of all, the one about the resolution, alternative forms of government. So I was wondering, is there an end to it? Is it just an endless committee, or is it?
I anticipate it being operational for between 6 and 9 months.
Okay, so it would have a cutoff date?
Well, we don't have a date per se, but we have a process per se, that these things should be done during that period.
Okay. And I was wondering, how will the committee be chosen?
By the 3 of us.
Okay, and what are the qualifications?
We don't have them yet.
Okay, so when is the decision going to be made about this resolution?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Okay. So you're not, so tomorrow will you know how the committee will be chosen and what the qualifications will be?
No, that comes after the resolution is passed.
Okay.
The resolution, correct me if I'm wrong, Bill, it's a resolution to establish the committee. Okay, but I think from what Bill is saying is we haven't figured out, or he hasn't figured out the criteria yet for selecting the people.
Okay. And how will this help you? Like, what is the need for this committee? I'm just a citizen who doesn't understand all these things.
But it'll help people like you
Okay.
have a voice.
Okay, so this committee will speak for us?
Well, it'll be talking to a lot of different people about what their feelings are, including elected officials, who certainly have a special interest here.
Okay.
There's other special interest groups, and we'll be talking to them. Plus just regular average voters who I think have their own individual interest in how our government is run.
Uh-huh. Okay. Okay, and let me go on to the educational campaign.
Oh, you're done with me?
Well, for now.
For now.
I'll roast you more later.
Go ahead.
So, okay, so was that a yes or a no on that? Educational, it's a no.
It's a no,
Okay.
yes.
Because I was just wondering, would the benefits of it be? I mean,
Of doing
how many
it,
of us, how many of us don't know to wash our hands? And how many of us don't know to wear a mask? And how many of us know not to go out if we're feeling ill? And
Kind of a moot question. since
yeah,
we-
I mean, I think your point is well taken. I mean, it's certainly gotten enough publicity. I think, I can only speculate here, but I think maybe the feeling is that a lot of people, at least within Kootenai County, are not masking. And so rather than, how do I put this, impose the heavy hand of government, some people have decided, let's go ahead and have an educational campaign so that people do mask and potentially slow the spread of COVID.
okay, and where do they get their information? Yeah,
I don't know.
because you can find
Oh, sure.
information on either side.
And when we're
So-
done here, when I get upstairs, I'm going to send you the BYU study.
Okay.
You and I communicated.
Yeah.
I'll send you, it's pretty exhaustive. And what they did, I'll just cite it briefly, is Brigham Young University went out and did a study on the effectiveness of masks. And I'll send it to you. And basically, they looked at other states and even other nations and found that those nations that took, I hate to use the word harsher, but more determined measures for people to do exactly as you said, wash your hands, socially distance, wear your mask, had a lower infection rate. What's fascinating is it's almost a cultural thing. If you look at the Asian nations, let's put China aside for the moment because that's kind of where it started, but what happened is they embraced the cooperation in the government's direction early on. South Korea, for example, has 50 million people. They've had 500 deaths. So if you take that and extrapolate it to the US, we're 7 times that large, a little bit less, 6.5. But if it were 7, we should have had 3,500 deaths. We're up over 220,000. We're 4% of the world's population, but we have 20% of the death rate. So it's I don't know if that's where they're coming from.
Well, I would have to argue, though, that what your death rate you're talking about, the 6% that CDC came out and said, there's only 6% of those reported deaths are 100% COVID. Everything else had comorbidities. Everything else had underlying
COVID
conditions.
kind of thrown in. He was hit by a bus, but he had COVID.
Right.
Right.
What's my daughter like saying? Oh, did you hear about the 2 people that died of COVID in the meth lab explosion?
Well,
Yeah, guys, I'm sorry, I think you're going a little bit too far with
No.
this. There are people with conditions.
statistics,
Absolutely.
when they are that disparate, between 500 people in Korea and 200,000 people in the US, I, as a statistician, am highly suspect of. Because I'm finding people have the statistic that they would like to put forward.
That's why I'm
And
wondering where the
I
source
would-
is.
I would much rather have seen this educational campaign, if you will, the PSAs, in the beginning instead of a mandate. I think we would have had a much better result and compliance, and we wouldn't have ripped our community apart over it.
Yeah. Well, I think that we've already been conditioned. I don't think we need the ad campaign. I mean, you just need to walk into Walmart. You get within a few feet of somebody, they, recoil, and it's just,
Yeah.
I think it's been done. I think whatever needs to be done has been done.
I'll send you the study.
Okay, and the article you sent me, I couldn't open it because it was on a newspaper I'd opened a couple times. So-
Yeah, let me see
Yeah.
if I can resend it, okay.
Can I have the study too?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then just another thing is, what does the participation in the ad campaign lead to? Like, what's the end game? Is it education only? Is it further regulations? Like, if it's
Well, I
just-
haven't communicated with Kiki, and the only communication that I had was from Mayor Widmeyer asking if he wanted to participate. I can only speculate, and my guess is they're probably trying to slow the spread, okay?
Yeah, I think
That's
it's
simple, and I
good,
think,
well-intentioned,
yeah.
but
Yeah. Okay, but you guys pretty much agree it's a moot point as far as,
For county involvement, yeah.
okay, well, let me know if you're gonna vote on it.
Well,
Let me
we
speak
kind of did.
again.
We're
Well,
not
we
taking
Okay.
action.
essentially did, you
Okay,
know.
thank you so much.
Yeah, sometimes what happens is we'll have a discussion, and if 2 of us agree to go in one direction versus the other, then it's just a question, okay, let it go.
That's kind of the feeling I got. I
Yeah.
just didn't wanna.
Some things
anything?
we might individually fight for, but I think to your point, Sandra, a lot has already been said. If people don't want to do it, they don't want to do it. If they do, by all means, protect yourself and, you know.
But if either of you are looking at statistics, I'm just curious, because Lakeland opened 5 days a week, no masks, and their rates haven't been any greater than Post Falls and Coeur d'Alene
Nice.
school districts. So I'm just curious as to, can anybody explain that?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, yeah, they're not allowing discussion. But, okay, well, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys and your time.
You're very welcome. Anyone else?
Anybody on the line?
Okay.
Nope, I don't have anything else.
Thanks, Pat.
Okay, so the time is now 11:43 and the meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.